Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew, welcome back for another live podcast for that ass. Tonight is the Wednesday War Room. Why does our background not reflect it? Let's go. There it is.
You had to fix it.
We fixed it.
Came in clutch for that background there, Mike.
We had to do it. Had to let the people know what's going on. We got a lot of injury news today, Steve. A lot of injury news today. Andy let it be known. Lots of things going down. I'm just going to jump right into it. Is that cool?
Do it. I'm not up to date, so you got to fill me in.
Okay, here's what's up. So Matt Derrick just come out just a few minutes ago, actually. It said, although we didn't see him on the field during the portion of practice open to the media, Willie Gay was actually limited today. He did practice some, and they said he is trending upwards for the game. Also, the Chiefs only made one move today, and they put Prince Tega Winogo, tackle, swing lineman. He's been designated to return from the IR, so they started his 21-day practice window, Steve. It's looking as though that's big, because the big news is Joe Toney. Joe Toney, pectoral muscle. If you didn't know, there's two muscles here. There's a big and a small, and it works your arm. It pushes, things like that. Everything an offensive lineman has to do. It's not looking good for Joe Toney, Steve. I'm predicting that Joe Toney's probably going to miss this one. Who did it today? Was it Schefter maybe come out and said he has a source inside KC and they believe it's probably 90% to 95% he's not going.
So it's unlikely that he'll play.
Right. It's super unlikely. So we're probably going to be with Nick Allegretti.
Real doubtful right now or something like that. Like I did see our boys over on Chief Concerns. Jason Dunn said that he tore a pec. Yeah. And he said that they gave him the option back in the day that he could still play and block if he wore a sling, like some sort of a harness or something. So he thinks that Joe Toney will ultimately play on Sunday.
Okay.
So that's good to hear from someone that has that experience, but it's looking grim. But you know what the Chiefs do when it's looking grim, Mike?
Yeah. They're the Grim Reaper. Be the Grim Reaper. Here's the actual thing today. A lot of people on here. Naughty with the tricep. He's probably going to be out. Sky Moore still in IR. I don't know why I call him IR. Oh, Eeyore. Sky Moore still in IR. He tweaked that knee last week. He's not going to be playing. It would have to be Super Bowl for him to even get back on the field, and then still maybe not. Trey Smith didn't practice today. He had an illness. Mike Edwards still recovering for concussion protocol. He has not cleared that, but he does have enough time to do it. He's still, so I would think Mike Edwards gets back. Pacheco missed practice, ankle toe injury, but he already said he's gonna play. It would take a natural disaster to keep that guy off the field. Joe Toney with the pec obviously did not practice either. But Joe Toney's the big one, Steve, but Nick Allegretti is a serviceable backup. Also, if you could because Prince Tega actually did practice a decent amount today. By the time it gets to the game, they could bring him back up, and then that's another offensive lineman for depth. And I don't know, it sucks losing Joe Toney, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it turns into an absolute just rout or anything because of it. I do know the defense of the Ravens is spectacular, and they've got a great pass rush, but I just don't know if Toney's all world. He's probably the best left guard in the game, but is it enough to make it to where the Ravens just have a huge advantage? I don't see it. I think Nick Allegretti's more than capable of doing that.
I would agree somewhat. I do think Joe Toney, if he can play close to 100%, then you have to have him on the field because he is better than Allegretti. He's also an anchor on that offensive line. I mean, you don't want to mess with that kind of chemistry right in the playoffs, right? So if you don't have to, don't. But I don't want Joe Toney to be on the field if he's not at a good playing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if he's not
right, if he's not ready to go, don't force him.
Right. So, I mean, I'm okay with Allegretti. I'll tell you the big news that I like the most is the fact that Willie Gay was limited and he might be able to play, because that really hurt us not having Willie Gay on the field against Bills because Josh Allen was a running back that day.
Right.
By all means, Lamar Jackson is a running back. We're going to need Willie Gay. We really do need him. That would be a huge bonus for us.
Yeah, I think Drew Tranquil actually did a pretty good job, but this is a big thing for the offseason. Are we gonna re-sign Drew Tranquil, or are we gonna let Willie walk? I think you do see the difference. We've said this all year, that this defense is a different level with Willie Gay playing up to Willie Gay, like why we drafted him. Right. Like if Willie Gay's playing top level, this defense goes to another level. And Drew Tranquil, very good. But I think Willie does some things. he can do things differently than Drew Tranquil. I think he's a little quicker. I think he's faster. I'm almost positive he runs a faster 40. Willie Gay's one of the quickest guys on the team. But I'll say, like, Willie has everything you need. He's a great pass rusher, too, when they can get him.
Right.
I was always under the assumption that Willie could put on maybe 20 pounds and be a nice little defensive end if we ever needed him. But, yeah, I'll say, look, Willie's done a good job as making himself known as to be needed. Because I think before the season started, I was under the impression that, hey, you don't really need Willie Gay here. Like, we could probably do without him, and maybe even Tranquil could do it. But when Willie's off the field, the defense does look a little different, especially against the way the league's going nowadays.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I said, I think that's a huge piece for the Chiefs. Drew Tranquil, I think he's got the mental capacity to handle that job, but he does lack some of the God-given talent that Willie Gay has. But Tranquil's a football player, bro. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about any of these injuries. I still think the Chiefs are a better I'm going to go ahead and say I think they're a better team than the Ravens for the simple fact that they have the playoff experience.
Right.
They've been there. They've done it. The Ravens, they're not the greatest playoff football team. Granted, they have been the best team in football this year,
right.
But I just think it's different. Once you hit the playoffs, things are different. It's a reset button.
Right. So the Chiefs had to move the practices indoor. I'm throwing up some pictures on the screen from some of the KC beat reporters and different things. They were indoor. It wasn't really because of weather related. I'm pretty sure that it was only indoor because of the fog. Have you noticed it's been super foggy here, Steve? Like,
I haven't paid
in Kentucky,
attention, no.
it has been foggy like crazy. Apparently, there's a fog coming over the United States, and it's going to continue. We're all, going
like
back
movie.
to the dark ages, apparently. But yeah, so everybody, look, let's get to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and the Ravens matchup with Lamar. Everybody's making a big deal over this. Look, last week with Josh Allen, everybody before the game, it was Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes seemingly gets forgotten in every QB conversation by the national media every single time. Like, I don't know if it's just straight up at this point just to do it for clicks, just to do it for attention, or just because they're really that dumb. I have no clue at this point. Like, I'm completely lost. They did it with Josh Allen, and they've done it after the fact that Josh Allen lost. They're still getting on there. You got Sean O'Hare on what was it? NFL Network. He's out there saying, I'd still take him over Patrick Mahomes any day. You would take a guy, by the way, that's now lost to Patrick Mahomes multiple times in the playoffs and at home in the playoffs. A guy that's not won a single MVP, a guy that's not won a Super Bowl, let alone two, and a guy's not won any Super Bowl MVPs, and you would take him hands down over Patrick Mahomes. What psychotic, crazy world are we living in where these people keep disrespecting Patrick Mahomes as a QB?
They don't want to admit they were wrong. That's part of it. I think there's some other stuff that we won't discuss. But I also think that I really don't know. They can't be that stupid. Sometimes I think when they start getting into these conversations, they start talking about quarterbacks, I think they forget about Patrick Mahomes because he's the obvious number one. It's like, do you really even have to have the conversation about who the best quarterback in the league is? You shouldn't. It's obviously Patrick Mahomes. So go ahead and talk about Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson.
You have to talk about him if you've got every quarterback in the playoffs on a list and you're ranking them, and somehow Patrick Mahomes goes number 7.
It's just hate, man. That's all it is. Like, if you don't like him, you're gonna be against him.
So look,
I mean, it's all there is. If you're a Chiefs hater, you're never gonna pick him.
We've grew up watching Lamar Jackson. He was at U of L here. He played here for 3-4 years. I don't remember what it was. He went on. I was under the assumption. You remember when he come out, everybody said Lamar Jackson cannot pass the football. He will not be able to be a quarterback in this league. And I remember I went out on a limb and I was like, I think Lamar Jackson will be fine in the NFL because Lamar Jackson's enough of an athlete. I believe he could find his way. And so when the Ravens took him, the Ravens used this guy perfectly. At the same time, I believe you could have put Lamar Jackson in an Andy Reid offense, and he would have probably been fine here too. I think Lamar Jackson can adjust. But we do, just to nitpick at Lamar just a little bit, just to irk the skin, because we're not U of L Cardinal fans, and that's where he went to college. We're Big Blue, riding Big Blue. So we've always had a little love-hate with this guy. All we ever heard about was Lamar Jackson growing up in Kentucky. That's all it was. But like now, we'll still poke fun at him. We'll say, hey, he's a running back, blah, blah, blah. But he can't throw the ball when he needs to. We do that sometimes out of just pure fun. But, dude, Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, is going to be a tougher matchup this week than Josh Allen was last week.
100%. It's that saying.
Oh, you're on board. I didn't think you would be.
No, it's that saying. It's, what is it? I hate you, but damn it, I respect you. Like, that's kind of a Lamar Jackson kind of thing. Like, Lamar is a much better athlete than Josh Allen. He might not be as big. He might not be doing tush push every time they're on 4th and 1 or whatever, but he's a much better athlete, like hands down. And I think throwing ability, I don't think Lamar has the arm that Josh Allen has, but he definitely has just as good of accuracy as Josh Allen.
Lamar's got a pretty good arm.
And I think that his team as a whole is better. Their offensive line is better. I think it's a much tougher challenge than Buffalo.
Right. This is the best defense in Baltimore maybe since Lamar's been there. The same with Mahomes. Hands down for Mahomes. This is the best defense he's ever had. Lamar may be questionable a few of his first, rookie second year. But this is the best receiving core with the most weapons he's had. And again, Mark Andrews isn't playing, but he's trending towards playing. They're saying now Mark Andrews is going to play. They think he's going to play 100%.
Someone actually asked that in the comments if we knew what the Ravens injury report looked like. I can tell you this right here. Did not participate. Wide receiver Tylan Wallace, knee injury, and guard Kevin Zeitler. Then they had a limited participation from cornerback Marlon Humphrey with a calf issue, and linebacker Delshawn Phillips, and cornerback Rock Ya-Sin with a knee injury. And then full participation, Mark Andrews tight end. Right. So we could definitely be seeing him.
Andrews is going to be playing. Look, this was why when he was injured, I remember saying, man, Mark Andrews got injured. And then my next thought was, well, if we ever match up with him in the playoffs, that's the game he'll come back for. And look, lo and behold, here it is. But back to the Mahomes thing where he's disrespected. They're trying to do it with Lamar this week. I'm seeing it pop up everywhere. And the funny thing is they say Chiefs fans are sensitive. Chiefs fans are sensitive because nobody says that Mahomes isn't a good quarterback. Nobody disrespects Mahomes. Nobody says Josh Allen's better.
They gaslight you, bro. That's all they do is gaslight.
It's horrible.
Like crazy.
They're trying to do it with Lamar. They're trying, which we called. We said, look, if we beat Josh Allen, you're going to get it with Lamar. Look, if we beat Lamar, they're going to do it with Brock Purdy or Jared Goff.
Yeah, 100%.
Make that make sense when they do it with Brock Purdy and Jared Goff. That's going to be freaking hilarious to try to do that. But they will get on there and say it with a straight face. They'll do it. That's what they'll say. But I'm going to say this. Lamar Jackson is a lot more likable than Josh Allen. A lot more. Did you see what he said today when asked about playing Mahomes?
No.
It says, Pete Schrager had reported this. Lamar Jackson said about Patrick Mahomes that he is a Hall of Famer, present tense, not will be, that he's a Hall of Famer right now, which begs the question. And then he asked if Mahomes were up for contention right now for Canton, would he get in? And then Peter Schrager says, yes, emphatically, yes, first ballot. But then they went on to ask him about it yesterday, and they said something about, do you want to play Mahomes? And he laughed, and he was like, no. He said, I don't ever want to play Mahomes. He's like, I'm 1-3 against him. This dude has a little humility about him, whereas all these other cocky mofos get out here like Josh Allen and act like they do no wrong. They let the media hype him up. And at least Lamar seems to be a little bit grounded. He's respecting the greatness, and that makes me respect Lamar a little bit. Like, I'm fully on board with Lamar Jackson right now. I respect Lamar Jackson, the way he's handled this.
I agree with that sentiment. I do. And something else that I want to talk about is something that you're going to see a huge difference in the Ravens and the Bills is the Ravens are not going to come out and play scared like Buffalo did. They're not going to do it. They're fully confident they're the best team in football right now. They should be. I mean, people propped up San Francisco all year saying they were the best team in the NFL by far. The Ravens manhandled them.
The Ravens
absolutely beat the dog shat out of them right there in front of God and everybody. Like, they are by all means the best team in football, and I think they think that. Like, they have that confidence. They're not going to come out and play scared like Buffalo. They're not going to dink and dunk. They're not going to try to clock control you. Lamar's going to play Lamar's game, and if they're going to score quick, they're going to score quick. The defense has got a huge challenge coming up. And with that being said, I think our defense is up for it. We have a great defense, so it's going to be a good game, man.
Right. I think across the board, they're good special teams. They're great defensive team. they know, look, they can beat you by grinding it on you, and they can also beat you with a big play if you start selling out to the box. If you start selling back for the big play like we did with Buffalo, they can beat you underneath, and they are hard to stop. They're hard to stop. All four teams in still in contention right now for a Super Bowl was over 65% make on 3rd and short and 4th and short. That includes the Chiefs. Is that a crazy stat to know that 3rd short yardage and 4th and short yardage, we are one of the top 4 or 5 teams in football? That's insane. You would have never thought that because they had been so horrible doing it. But I think that's where Andy learned a little bit this year. It was like, hey, I got Pacheco. Why not use the dude? Like, it's pretty amazing. They still find a way to screw it up every once in a while. But, Richie says turnovers is the great equalizer.
100%, man. Like in this game, that could be the game. Especially they're talking about rainy conditions and things like that. If we win the turnover battle, I mean, that puts you in a good position to win that football game. So I think that's going to be something to look for. Our defense, great defense, but they're not the greatest at creating turnovers. They're really not. Can they? Yes, but it's not like a common occurrence for our defense. So yeah, for sure, man. I think that's a good point, Richie.
Yeah, that's a great point, Richie. I think turnovers is a big thing. We've played Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is squared off against the Chiefs, I want to say 4 times. So 4 times since 2018. Mahomes has been around all of these times. He's 1-3 against Mahomes. So the first 3 games he lost to Mahomes, and nothing spectacular. The first game he ever played against Mahomes, he did have a 100.5 QB rating, but the dude only had 13 completions on a 50% completion rate for 147 yards. But he did get 2 touchdowns. Both of them were like short touchdown throws. The second time he played him, not very good at all. 50% completion rate. But he did have 267 yards that time, but no touchdowns. Didn't get it on the board. And his QB rating was actually the lowest that game he's ever played against us. It was like 70 or 71. The third time he played us was in 2020. Another 50% game on completions. Only 97 yards passing and a touchdown. He got a touchdown there. He took 4 sacks. That was the last time he played us back in 2020. And then, of course, in 2021, he got his only win against us. He did a little bit better. He got 69%. So he was up about 20% on his passing. His yardage was at 239, very respectable. He did get the touchdown. He did throw 2 picks that game, which is kind of crazy that the one game that he threw multiple interceptions, because he hadn't threw a pick in the first 3 games. So if Lamar Jackson throws a pick against us, he actually wins the game. So we need to hope Lamar Jackson throws 0 picks, but that kind of goes against the turnover battle, huh?
Well, you have all those stats and stuff, but I can kind of sum this up for you. It's 4 matchups they played, right, so far?
Right.
3-1, Mahomes over Lamar. But you have to remember 2 of those games, one being a loss by the Chiefs and one being a win by the Chiefs, it was super, super close. One game against the Ravens, it was a miracle throw to Tyreek Hill, if you remember, late in the game, and that's how we beat them. Also,
I don't remember which year that was. Was that 2019?
Possibly. Also, the loss that the Chiefs took to the Ravens came at the hands of Clyde Edwards-Helaire while we were just trying to close the game out. He fumbled the ball while we were trying to run the clock out, if you remember, and they went down and kicked a field goal and won the game. So both those games were very, very close, man. So I think it's more equally matched than previous history shows. 3-1 could have easily been 2-2, or even 1-3 for the Chiefs. So it's always a game, man. It's always a game.
Right. I bring it up because people say he chokes. He chokes against the Chiefs. He chokes against Mahomes and in the playoffs. And I believe there's a lot more that goes into it than just Lamar Jackson plays bad.
Yeah, for sure. What's going on, Jay? Good to see you, buddy. He says, shows I'm subscribed, but I have no emojis. You need to be a member to have the emojis. So if you haven't joined, become a member, you can do that, and then you'll have access to all the emojis. Speaking of, appreciate you guys being here, 270 in the chat right now. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't. It just takes a second. It helps us out tremendously. Also, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. And like I was telling Jay, you can go join, become a member. The lowest tier starts at $4.99 a month, and that'll give you access to emojis, members-only live streams, and a bunch of other stuff. So make sure to go do that if you haven't already.
Right. Jay saying he was a member. It reset everybody's membership. So you should have got a refund on any time you became a member. If it was gifted to you, they got the refund, and it has to be either repurchased or somebody has to gift you another one. It's starting over with YouTube.
Start from scratch, man. Start from scratch.
So we're all kind of starting over. By the way, we still getting members over at our Patreon, patreon.com/allchiefedup. We're still doing stuff over there. We're probably going to release another video later this week talking about the Ravens game in depth. That's only $10 a month. We're planning on putting a lot of draft content over there too. We're starting to get the draft season. It's draft season. They're saying it's already mock draft season. Now that it's down to just the AFC, NFC championship game, Steve, they're calling it mock draft season. It's a little too early. Mock draft season does not start till we celebrate it at Union Station. That's when mock draft season starts.
100%. I mean, we're not going to start on drafts just yet because we have work to get done first. That's all there is to it, man. But yeah, Mike, like Mike said, you can join our Patreon. $10 a month, you get a lot of extra stuff. And like he said, we're going to hit it up a lot with draft content and things like that, just to kind of show you. If you want to take it off the screen for 2 seconds, Mike.
My bad.
If you get on our Patreon, of course, it has individual prices, but if you're a member, you get all this stuff for free. So we have exclusive episodes, things like that. We try to throw up little extras. You get the brotherly love phone wallpaper.
Oh, look at that. Look at that hairy-chested man bod.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, who doesn't want this as their phone wallpaper?
Dude, I threw up I'm throwing it up later tonight. It's supposed to come out about 9 p.m. KC time. But I got some clips of the show of him talking about his wife, Kylie, hated the fact that he did that and he ran it by her. And I thought it was too funny. I had to make a little short and just throw it out there. I watched that show. You know, I like watching New Heights. It's funny. Like, I feel like you get a little bit of an insight to the Chiefs because of Travis Kelce being on the show. You know what I mean? Like, sure. If it was two other fan bases talking, for example, like I think Michael Parsons has one. I'm not really watching Michael Parsons. I may watch it the week he plays the Chiefs to see what happens during the game. Right. But having Kelce, that little insight to every game, is kind of cool. And so I've got a few shorts I'm going to make off those this week, but I think it's hilarious, dude. Roberto El Diablo says, are you guys in Louisville? I'm right across the river in Sellersburg.
Nice.
Sellersburg, Indiana. Yeah, I'm pretty close to that. I'm probably about 35, 40 minutes from Sellersburg. So appreciate you being here, Robert. Hit that sub button and come hang out with the Chief Bros.
Heck yeah, man.
We're the Mountain Dew Bros, right?
But Mountain Dew
should we be the Chief
Bros?
Emoji.
It doesn't matter. We can be whatever bros you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew says he got that wallpaper. It's pretty cool. So it's actually on my phone right now, too. So I have.
What do you got? Show it.
Hold on. Can you see it?
Oh, I can. I seen the chest hair glistening.
Yeah, there we go.
It's beautiful.
Baby.
I'm going to have to go in there and download it.
You're going to need that.
Beasted dude. What do you think is the key for the Chiefs to win, and what do you think is the key for the Ravens to win? I'll go quickly. I think it's whoever controls the trenches. Whoever can make the other quarterback make mistakes, whoever gets more sacks, whoever can cause some turnovers, that's what's going to do it. So if Chris Jones and them can eat, we've got a chance. If they can keep Lamar in the pocket, we got a chance. If they let Lamar get out and start cooking and start like hitting the easy ones over the top, we're going to be in trouble.
That's the main thing I was going to say, Mike. The key for the Chiefs to win and the key for the Ravens to win, I think, go hand in hand. And to me, it's who can eliminate the big play. If the Chiefs can eliminate the big play from the Ravens to where they can't score quick, I think the Chiefs are going to win. If the Ravens are going to get open for some of that.
Chiefs got to continue to punch it in the red zone. They looked a little better the other day, but you got to keep improving on that. Go ahead. Enrique with the 5-bomb.
5-bomb from Enrique. What's going on, Enrique? Good to see you, my man. He says, I got treated for lunch today, so I'm buying our boys a coffee. Is this our biggest challenge? Let's freaking go. How crazy would it be to play the Lions in the Super Bowl? First of all, if we play the Lions in the Super Bowl, I love it. I love that matchup. I think the Chiefs win that matchup. But as much as I would hate to see the Chiefs lose another Super Bowl, it probably, would you be as mad about the Lions winning a Super Bowl as the 49ers?
No, I would rather lose to the Lions than the 49ers any day.
It's just they haven't won in so long. At least there's some kind of silver lining to the whole situation.
Steve, 99.9% of America is all about the Lions right there. We're already the villains. We would be even more the villain.
But I'm okay with that because I think we win that matchup. No problem at this point because I think we were the better team in week 1. We just had a lot of drops, a lot of weird stuff. That team was not together. We didn't have Travis Kelce. We didn't have Chris Jones. So, yeah, and it was still a Chiefs win if Kadarius Toney don't hand them the ball for 6. So I'm liking that. I think this is our biggest challenge right here. I think if the Chiefs can beat the Baltimore Ravens this week, they can repeat as Super Bowl champions, no doubt in my mind. The Ravens have been the best team in football, like I said earlier, Enrique, and I think it's the biggest challenge for the Chiefs for sure.
Yeah, I think I think this was the biggest one. But do you remember back when they were still, talking about seeding in certain ways, and there were certain matchups that were going to put the Chiefs versus Ravens in the first round, and a lot of Chiefs Kingdom was just nonchalantly just acting like that one wasn't going to be a tough one. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why it was like that, but it did do it. So just saying, I think that's a tough one. But I appreciate you, Enrique. Everybody throw some legendaries in the chat for Enrique, our boy. Chiefs again said, who's going to hold OBJ? OBJ's not – I don't think he's going to be that much of a factor, and it doesn't really matter who we put on him. I think Snead or McDuffie locks him down.
Who is their number one receiver? Who is considered their number one?
It's got to be Zay Flowers.
But doesn't he play out of the slot quite a bit, or no? Am I wrong?
No, he plays out of the slot, but I mean, they run a totally different style of offense. They're kind of like us. We don't really have a
like if you tell me that McDuffie's covering Zay Flowers, I'm completely happy with that. I think he shuts him down. Not worried about it.
Right. So I think maybe Snead
on OBJ, that's not even a question.
That shouldn't even be close.
I like the matchup we have as far as, secondary and receivers go. I think the Chiefs have that matchup. So a lot of it's going to hinge on, like I said, you can't bust any coverage. You can't let up big plays, and we can't let Lamar scramble all over us. That's the main thing.
Right. Deacon says, is Joe Toney going to play? We talked about this earlier. I'm under the assumption that I don't think he's going to play. If I had to roll it, I'd put about a 90% that he's not going to play. Steve said he watched something from, who was it that you watched? Jason Dunn, right?
Yeah, Jason Dunn and Chief Concerns.
And he said he had that injury and that it is possible that they can put a sling on him so it doesn't stretch his pec out when he's blocking, and that he may be able to get there and play. So it's still up in the air a little bit. I'm under the impression I don't think he will. Adam Schefter reported today that he had an inside source. Now, we don't know what that means. That could be totally made up, but Schefter's pretty good at what he does. He says there's an inside source with the Chiefs saying that they're probably going to be really cautious with him, and they're probably going to sit him and wait. The Super Bowl is probably more realistic. But here's my thing, Steve. You're playing the Ravens away. You're playing at Baltimore. The Super Bowl is not a given. Like, if you got to get this guy on the field to get to the Super Bowl, you may have to do it.
Like I said earlier, Mike, I think this is the biggest challenge for the Chiefs in attaining the Lombardi. It's not even winning the Super Bowl. It's winning this game.
Right.
Like, I feel much more comfortable about the Chiefs matched up with the 49ers or the Lions as I do the Ravens, because the Ravens have just been the best team in football this year, and you can't argue that. We got a new member from Roberto El Diablo. Love the name, by the way. Right. But appreciate you becoming a member. Everybody put some legendaries in the chat for Roberto.
Holding down Sellersburg, Indiana. That might be our first. ACU crew member from Indiana. I don't know if I know another crew member from Indiana. He may be the first.
I don't know. Doug asked a good question. So if Mark Edwards is going to play, is that his name? Mark
Andrews.
I don't know. This is a guy that people thought Travis Kelce wasn't as good as 2 years ago, Mike. So, and this is how much I care about him. But either way, Mark Andrews, if he plays, he is a good tight end. But he's also coming off of a knee injury, or was it ankle? Sorry, it was an ankle injury. He's coming off an ankle injury. He's been on IR for a while. How do we contain him? Basically, is what Doug's asking. And I think it comes down to Justin Reid. I feel like Justin Reid's been phenomenal the last few weeks. He's great in coverage. He's let up nothing in coverage. He's hitting people a ton. Like, I'm loving how Justin Reid's playing lately, and I think that he controls that situation pretty well.
Right. I think Justin Reid is a pretty good option right there. Honestly, I'm not opposed if you want to play a little more dime coverage or something, and maybe bring in a Jalen Watson or a Josh Williams, a bigger body that can match up with him physically, size, and then have a decent amount more speed that can also be physical. I'm fine with that too. Depends on how you do it, and it depends on Spags. A lot of people think Spags is going to have to take more chances this week. They think he's going to have to sell out a lot, blitz, and this and that and everything. But do you really want to blitz at Lamar Jackson?
Well, here's the thing. You can't blitz up the middle at Lamar Jackson. I think that we're going to have to disguise a lot of coverages and things like that, disguise a lot of blitzes. I think that you're going to see a lot of what you hate. I think that we're going to see Spags dropping the defensive ends back into coverage a little bit. And I think you'll see him blitzing some corners and things like that, or some outside linebackers on the outside.
Right.
I think you're going to see a lot of things to confuse Lamar. Because I think if you confuse Lamar and you can slow him down a tick just because he don't exactly know what's going on, you can win that game. And I think that's the way that Spags is going to be looking at it, because you blitz up the middle, man. You flush Lamar out of the pocket, and you're shooting yourself in the foot.
That's a double-edged sword too, though, because last week with Josh Allen, we were blitzing him from the corners and coming around the edges, and he was just going up the gut.
But he's right also at the gut. 300 pounds and
I get it, but he's less
7 feet
elusive,
tall.
So he can.
I don't see Lamar doing as much up the middle. He's just a different type of athlete, but I do know Lamar is dangerous when you flush him out of the pocket. That's where he can either throw and make things happen or scramble and get a lot of yardage, much like Patrick Mahomes.
Right. He is like Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have in my opinion, he don't have as good of a ball like to throw. Like he doesn't throw as good of a ball outside the pocket. But I will say what Lamar does do is he can improvise, and he does throw a good enough ball that he can beat you on the edge. He may not make the spectacular throws that Mahomes will do, but we've kind of seen Mahomes get out of that a little bit. He don't really trust his receivers enough to make those miraculous throws on the edges anymore. He kind of eats it a lot. So we'll see. But I will say, though, I don't think they're going to blitz as much as we think. I could be wrong. Spags could just come out and blitz all day long.
I
don't know. I don't think he does it.
If you can keep Lamar in the pocket and put pressure on him, it's going to be a long day for Lamar. So, I mean, like I said, I think they'll try to disguise some things, but I do think they'll try to bring some pressure. I really do.
Right. Okay, look, I remember, let's see. It was the Texans game, just the last game. There at the end of the first half, the Texans were bringing some heat, and Lamar was getting hit. But that's all on his offensive lineman. It's not really Lamar. I don't think Lamar can't handle pressure. I just think if the linemen break down and you get to him quick, you're in trouble.
Right. Dean Bishop makes a good point here. He says, get a lead and make them beat you with a pass. That's huge for the Chiefs. If they can jump out and get a lead early here and kind of get them off their game to where Lamar don't feel like, I can be scrambling here and there, and they try to press a little bit, that'd be huge for the Chiefs, because I think that's ideal for our defense is if they start pressing some. Because, they do have some weapons, man. Zay Flowers has been a beast. OBJ has been very good this year. Even the other guy, like Aguilar, will catch one when you're not paying attention. Bateman, they got guys that can catch the ball. So they have weapons out there. But I feel like if they start pressing, compared to our secondary, I'll take those chances any day.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. Would you feel easy? I mean, everybody feels easier being up 2 scores. But if the Chiefs go up 14 in the first quarter, is that enough to just let your guard down? I don't know if I want to do that.
No, you cannot. You cannot let the foot off the gas at all. It's playoffs. Do not do that.
Right. You got to keep attacking these guys.
Pops in the house saying Harbaugh to the Chargers. Harbaugh is getting hired by the Los Angeles Chargers. That's true. That just happened. What do you think about that? Like, I don't care. I think it's kind of funny because they stink, and I don't think Harbaugh's going to change the fact that they stink.
Right. I'm not too worried about it. I don't know if Harbaugh. I mean, to be honest, this is the report. Yahoo Sports just brought it up. Jim Harbaugh's leaving Michigan to accept the head coaching job per report. I mean, we'll see. I don't think he's that great, to be honest, as a coach.
Not a huge fan.
Even at Michigan. I mean, look, he won a championship in the year he had a cheating scandal.
Exactly. He Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and it's kind of easy if you get yourself into a Power 5 conference as big as Michigan that you can go out and pay recruits and do all you need to do during the portal. You can put yourself up there. You know what I mean? Like if you get hired at a big school like Ohio State or just big schools like that, you don't have to have too much coaching ability to come in there and win games.
I think people are kind of reading too far into that too, because that's been a situation people's been talking about is Harbaugh to the Chargers. And I don't think there's really any question here. I mean, if you just break it down, you're going to go from Michigan weather to Los Angeles weather, and you're going to make more money. What do you think this man's going to do?
Right.
Like that's silly.
Plus, it doesn't matter what you do in college. I think besides Nick Saban, I really feel like a lot of coaches aspire to be at the NFL level. There's few coaches that just don't. Like, look, we grew up in Kentucky, man.
Saban sucked in the NFL, didn't he?
They always tend to not do too well. I mean, if you think about it, look, we come from Kentucky, man. It's a big basketball state. Rick Pitino was good with Kentucky, and then he tried his hand at the NBA and didn't do well.
Right.
Coach
Same with
Cal
Calipari.
was at Memphis, and he went to the NBA with the Nets, and he did okay. It wasn't nothing great, and then he come back, and now he's
They fired him pretty quick, though.
Yeah, he's perfectly content on staying in college. Nick Saban perfectly content and ending his career in college. So you got those coaches like that. I think that he's going to come up and he's going to be like, "Hey, this isn't what it's all cut out to be. Chiefs are beating me down pretty bad a couple times a year. I might want to go back to where will he go next? He's not going to go back to Ann Arbor. He'll end up somewhere crazy. He'll probably end up in the SEC somewhere. He'll end up at like Texas A&M in like 2 or 3 years."
Yeah, who knows, man. But back to the matchup with the Ravens. I mean, that's what we're focused on today. It's what we'll be talking about for the rest of the week. We're moving on from the Bills. Ha ha, Buffalo. Like we got our the receipts were read, and we made fun of some people, and that's all we needed to do.
Right. It's fun making fun of Buffalo a little bit.
It is. But on to the Ravens, on to bigger and better things and more important things. The Patrick Mahomes being in his 6th AFC championship game in 6 years as a starter is more freaking insane than I think people even fathom. Like, it's
crazy.
Ridiculous.
I just don't think people understand how crazy that is.
It's crazy, dude. Like Patrick Mahomes, like what he's been able to accomplish in 6 years as a starter in the NFL is just it's unreal. Like it's crazy. Which brings us back to why do people always talk about how Josh Allen's better? Like they're just crazy. They're just looking for a reaction. That's all they're doing, right? Like sometimes you gotta be a little clickbaity. Sometimes you gotta start some controversy. That's just their way of doing it, man. I mean, that's all they have to talk about. What were they gonna do? Were they gonna talk all week and be like, well, we know Patrick Mahomes is better than Josh Allen, the Chiefs are gonna win? What kind of narrative was that for them? Because everybody would be like, yeah, you're probably right. So, and that was it, you know.
Right. Do you remember what week was it? It was November 12th. November 12th. So that would have been week. Good Lord, I don't even know. Maybe week 9. Anyways, the Browns went to the Bills. Not the Bills. I said the Bills. I got the Bills on the mind. The Browns went into Baltimore and beat the Ravens, right?
Yes.
So if you look at how the game went, it did not start off super great for Cleveland. They had a pick six. Kyle Hamilton started off 7-0 with an 18-yard interception return. Then Keaton Mitchell, who is injured now, I believe, 39-yard run, put them up 14-0 on Cleveland. Cleveland responded with a field goal, so made it 14-3, and then Justin Tucker kicked the field goal, making it 17-3 at the end of the first quarter. Anybody would have thought that was a blowout, Baltimore, and it's going to be that way. The second quarter, Dustin Hopkins puts on 2 more field goals, makes it 17-9 at the half. And then the second half, Baltimore quit. Baltimore quit. They got swallowed up defensively. Like they got after Lamar Jackson. They stopped the run, and they were able to run the ball themselves. Odell Beckham actually had a 40-yard touchdown pass from Lamar, made it 24-9. And as soon as that happened, it was over. Kareem Hunt scored, made it 24-17. Gus Edwards scored on the ground, a little cheapy. But then after that, Elijah Moore, 10-yard touchdown. Greg Newsome, 34-yard interception return, so he picked off Lamar. And then Dustin Hopkins' field goal made it 33-31. So even being down 17-13 to the Ravens in Baltimore is not a death sentence for any team whatsoever. I think what you have to do is you got to commit to stopping the ball and making you got to get Lamar Jackson into situations where he must throw. I think that's the key. You can't let these – against Buffalo, we kind of screwed the pooch a lot, but it was on first down. How many times did we let them go 7-8 yards on first down? They were working with second and short, third and short all game.
It's funny because our run defense has been a little suspect compared to everything else in the big picture because defense has been pretty solid. I'd say that's been the one weakness maybe is the run defense. And they were letting up 6-7 yards here and there the whole game. And yeah, it did kind of suck, especially on first down when they get to, second and short. That's what the situation they were in a lot of the game. But
right.
Like at some point in the game, it did cross my mind, like, is this what Spags is doing? Like, is the defense he's playing allowing them to just do this? Because Buffalo killed themselves by playing the dink and dunk clock control game. They did.
I think they should have opened it up a little bit sooner.
So was Spags just allowing it to happen? Like, bend don't break type deal. Like, just let it be. If they get the 6 yards, they get the 6 yards, but we're not going to let up a big play. Like, I don't know. I wonder if that was kind of the thought on the defensive scheme, or it could have just been poor run defense. So, not for sure there. But either way, I think that same thing translates over to the Baltimore game. I saw where somebody said in the chat, might have been Richie, he said that basically the Bills game was just a practice game for this one. Like they got things they can correct now. And that's one of the things they can correct is they know that if they allow Baltimore to get out and get 6-7 yards on a carry every first down, that they're going to put themselves in a bad situation.
Yeah. Baltimore will just run all over you.
Exactly.
Not to mention they're going to run tons of stuff with Lamar, and that makes it tough too. Ray says, Mike and Steve, according to Colin Cowherd, the only reason the Chiefs have advanced is because of injuries to the Bills and Dolphins. Meanwhile, they forget Bills was the favorites. Well, they also forget too that the Chiefs have dealt with our multiple injuries as well.
They don't want to talk about our injuries, but everybody else.
It's okay that we don't have injuries. It's okay that we've not done anything at the wide receiver position. So they've magically went from the worst, most drops in the league to now they're great, according to all media.
Yeah, that was a crazy thing. Like all this week, they've been giving Josh Allen a pass and saying that his receivers drop balls. What have they been saying about Mahomes all year?
Right, but Mahomes has had a bad season because his receivers have dropped over 35 balls this year. So they need to drop their own balls and get after it. Robert says we need a little PP on the PP with Mike Pennell.
Absolutely.
Mike Pennell's going to have a big game.
Yeah, I think you stop their run up the gut there, man. Like if, what is it, Edwards that's running the ball for them now?
Yeah, Gus Edwards. I mean, they've got a few running backs in there.
Right.
Is Justice Hill still playing? Is he injured? Or
he might be the one that got it. One of them got injured like a few weeks back, and I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I want to see the depth chart
because
they do got some good running backs, man.
They do, but if you control the running backs, I think that you can. It goes.
Oh, they signed Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, they have Dalvin. I don't know how much he's played.
But is he playing a lot? So yeah, they got Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and Dalvin Cook. I mean, those are three pretty good running backs. I mean, obviously, Dalvin Cook's your third string.
Like I said, if you can control the running backs and don't let them run amok on you, I think that goes a long way in helping you stop Lamar as well. Right. You know, because you can adjust. But
right. Ryan Paveo, I'm guessing he's a Ravens fan. He said Browns play us twice a year at minimum. Their team had the best chance in the playoffs to beat Baltimore because they know us best, or Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the divisional games are always tough,
games,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs dropped one to the abysmal Broncos. They dropped one to the Raiders this year. It's just interdivision matchups are always tougher. They just are. And, you know, like I think Mike was pointing out that like being down to the Ravens isn't a death sentence. And being down as a Patrick Mahomes led team is not a death sentence. Patrick Mahomes went down by a touchdown more in the playoffs. It's like 8-2 or something like that. I can't remember the exact stat, but it's just, you know, it's not something to panic about. But it is the toughest matchup for the Chiefs. I will say that. I think that the Ravens are the best team in football this year, so it's definitely the toughest matchup for the Chiefs. But on the flip side, I think the Chiefs are the toughest matchup for the Ravens. I think anyone else the Ravens could have played would have been much better for them. I feel like the Chiefs is the toughest matchup for them, 100%. So it goes both ways. It should be a really good matchup.
Right. Let's see. I just seen one. Doug here. He says, who are the refs for the game? I hope they let the players play. If I'm not mistaken, they picked, is it Sean Smith?
Yeah. You haven't seen where everyone's saying that it's rigged for the Chiefs because they picked Sean Smith?
Everything's rigged for the Chiefs every time.
Full on media, like Barstool Sports, complete joke, clown show. Like these guys are insane. Like they just put anything out there in the atmosphere, you know?
Yeah, they're just trying to get clicks, man. But everything's Chiefs. You know, if the Chiefs win this game, it's all because it's rigged. It's the script.
Somehow Buffalo fans are under the assumption that the refs handed the Chiefs the game against Buffalo.
I have no idea because
I don't understand that one.
Yeah, I don't even think the officials made
or that the Chiefs
calls.
got lucky, and I'm like, there's no way the Chiefs got lucky when they fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line out of bounds and you got the ball back on the 20. How is that lucky for the Chiefs?
Is that rule going to be changed this offseason? I'm under the assumption I think it will be.
I think
it's gone.
I think it should be. And I'm not just saying that because of the McCole Hardman play. I think prior to that, I've thought that.
What is the outcome then? If it's taken out and the ball is not now turned over, what is it? Is the ball
goes out of bounds, you just get it
where the person fumbled it, or does it go out at the one?
Wherever you were down, I guess. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'm sure they'll find all the little nuances.
Yeah, they'll do something with it.
I think fumbling the ball on the 1 yard line and no one recovering it, that's a hefty price to pay right there to give the other team the ball on the 20 yard line. If nothing else, should they just recover the ball on, from further back than the 20 and not make it a touchback? Or I don't know what they'll go with.
This would be fun. This would be a little fun. If you don't want to take the ball, okay, if you don't want to take if you don't want to take and give the ball back to the team because they fumbled it through the end zone and that's supposed to be something bad. Shout out Jay Kelsey, by the way, on being a member, Jay. Appreciate
you. Got
you.
your
Welcome.
emojis back now, Jay.
You found it. Yeah, our boy Jay. So, yeah, how fun would it be for the game is if it got fumbled through the end zone that you just had to put the ball on the 1 yard line and let the other team go 99.
That's what I was saying. They
that
could
would
go that
immediately
route.
bring in a safety and let you have a chance to get the play going back or something. You know what I mean? Like something.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I feel like it's a double punishment for a team.
Right.
First of all, if you're down in the red zone and you fumble the ball out of the end zone, granted, I don't think you should be rewarded for that. I don't think they should just be like, you know what, that didn't happen. Whatever.
Well, you've seen on the first play of the game, they fumbled the ball and the kid from Buffalo flipped it out of bounds. Of course, he flipped it forward, so he got a penalty.
Yeah,
but
right.
still, if he don't flip it out of bounds, which is essentially what McCole Hardman did, it just bounced out the back of the end zone. So essentially, they got away with nothing. It ended up being 3 yards instead of losing the ball, and then we get 7 points off the board.
I just definitely think that the rule is very lopsided. Like, I feel like if a team fumbles a ball on the 1 yard line or goes to the end zone, like, not only do they lose possession, but you're also moving them up the field 20 yards.
Right.
Like,
So that's
I'm
my
with
thing.
you.
Like,
I feel like if they want to make it change of possession, then cool.
Right.
Put
So
them on
look,
the
if
one.
McCole Hardman fumbled that at the 1, they should get it at the 1. That should be, and I mean, that's still good enough. You're preventing us from putting points on the board, and you now have possession of the ball. Make something happen.
Right, but
if not,
you shouldn't just like set them up
game
for success after that, the way it's going.
Right. I kind of like that one. We got a 5-bomb from our boy Rudy MG. Appreciate you, brother. He says, my argument for the injuries is the Chiefs are so good at keeping healthy for the playoffs. Other teams make bad decisions and get unlucky. The Chiefs have been very
fortunate
over the past few years.
It's also a testament to how Andy runs his team too. He kind of he doesn't let them get beat to death all season. Like, he does things a certain way, and it might make us struggle a little bit in the regular season, but it's a long play. But something else too is I don't think you can really say that about the Chiefs because we've had our fair share of injuries all year long. I mean, we're not even getting Jerick McKinnon for our playoff run. People are forgetting about him. That's a guy that killed people last year. Like, every game he went like 7 games in a row with a touchdown. He was great in the Super Bowl. He made the smart heads up play getting down in the Super Bowl. He's our best pass protector in the backfield there. Like, people forget about that. They don't want to talk about that. Then you're talking about our starting left guard might not be playing. Last week we beat Buffalo with Willie Gay out after the first play,
Dude,
who was our spy on Josh Allen, and Mike Edwards went out.
But look, we had Nick Bolton missed the majority of the season. We've had Brian Cook out for the majority of the season.
Yeah, we're missing a safety as it is, and then
we missed our starting left tackle for 3-4 games.
And granted, it didn't make a difference, but McCole Hardman was on the IR for a long time.
It happens. I gifted a membership up just because. Sometimes I'll just do it to make sure everybody's paying attention. And Amy Casey with the gifted membership. Amy, welcome to the crew. Throw some legendaries in the chat for Amy.
Nice. Welcome aboard. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's going to be a rainy game. Do you think the elements are going to make that difficult for either team? Or which one would that affect more?
I think the rain actually hurts the Ravens more, and I'm going to tell you why. Not because I'm a Chiefs homer, but this is why. I think that the Ravens rely on running the ball so much that if the pill's a little slippery, that they got a chance. They're going to be the ones that want to run the ball 25, 35 times a game. So that is more effort, or that is more chances for them to fumble. We run the ball. If we hit 22 carries designed, that's insane. Like, we don't usually do that. So will it be harder for our receivers to catch the ball? Maybe. Maybe the rain makes them focus a little more. Maybe it keeps their focus on a little more. And then I think with the elements, I think Pat can sling the ball a little better than Lamar in the rain. Now, I don't have nothing to back that up, but I've seen Mahomes in rain. I've seen him in snow, and nothing seems to bother that cat. But Lamar, I've yet to really pay attention to that. So that may be a bad point. I don't know.
No matter how good you've been at ball security.
I favor Mahomes there.
No matter how good you've been at ball security in the past, I still think the elements make it very iffy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at any time, a ball could slip out if it's soaking wet. So
right. We got Robert with a 5-bomb. It says, let's celebrate Robert's first super on a live stream. Look at that. Our boy from Sellersburg says, I've been a Chiefs fan since Christian Okoye, the Nigerian freaking nightmare, baby. Even if we don't win, I'm still so grateful for these past years. A lot of people's been on board with that, man. I totally understand where you're coming from. I believe that, dude, we struggled for so long. It is nice to be able to. I think Pops even said that the other day at the game, Steve. He was like, "Isn't it weird that like all these years, like we're like we're still advancing in the playoffs, even with bad, like what we seemingly thought was a bad team all
Crazy
year.
What a Patrick Mahomes will do for you, right?
It's not even really a bad team. So I think a lot of people this year, we had a lot of rift. A lot of Chiefs Kingdom were in a rift all year. You had the happy-go-luckies and totally get it. And then you have the people that are scared to death that you're going to lose it. And they're like, we need to keep winning. This is a win-now league, man. So I think there's a fine majority there for both. But I think I'm with you. If the Chiefs was to lose this game to the Ravens, Steve, are you really going to be that heartbroken? I think this has been a great season for the Chiefs.
Yes and no. I feel like your window's small, and we know that from being Chiefs fans.
Right.
Like we went years when the Chiefs were not good. We have Patrick Mahomes. We only have him for a limited amount of time, and I feel like any time that you don't win the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, especially with Andy Reid there, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, I feel like it's kind of a waste. It's a letdown year. So yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, I understand that as well. But I think the way that you got to look at it is you got to have a winning mentality. Like the only way that a team, like, and I'm saying this as fans, which doesn't really affect all that much because you're just fans. You don't really have an effect on the outcome. But the team itself has to keep a winning mentality. They can't think good enough. They can't think, well, we won it last year, so if we lose here, I'm not going to be upset. You can't. They have to be cutthroat,
right?
All winning mentality. So that's kind of the angle that we play. Mike, as fans and as analysts, is we always play that side of the fence where it's like if you're content with losing a game just because you were good last year, then you have a losing mentality. And I think that's true. But two things can be true. I also think that after the fact, if you do go out and lose the game, like you can be like, well, you know, we've had a really good run and I'm not upset because we'll be competing again next year.
Well, that's my thing. If you look, I did not expect. And look, this is at the risk of everybody saying that you're a bandwagon fan or something. But watching that team almost all year long, there were not many signs that pointed that this team was going to be ready to be a championship-ready team. We know it. We had shortcomings in the wide receiver room. We were making the same mental mistakes over and over and over. But yet, once we got to the playoffs, our leaders did step up. And again, this all hinges on Patrick Mahomes, how well he plays. Because his QBR, his rating, everything about Mahomes' game, he steps it up. And he's willed us to these wins. And I'll say, you know, if we do lose, it's kind of expected. I mean, because look, our shortcomings throughout the season didn't just change overnight. We just didn't wake up and Kadarius Toney and everybody's now Pro Bowl receivers. We didn't wake up and that happened. So you still got the same flaws. We've just found a way to work through them. And at some point, if they do catch up with us, cool. That because we set ourselves up for it. But I'll say this, I would be proud of them because I did not expect them to be this far. I honestly thought that maybe you win 1 or 2 games. So they're at right about the potential I thought. And that's not saying anything bad because you can be a dynasty and not get to the Super Bowl every year. You can be a dynasty and not win the Super Bowl every year, especially if you don't assemble your team properly.
I'm just going to go ahead and cut you off here. The Chiefs are a dynasty right now. 6 AFC championship games in a row, 3 Super Bowls, 2 wins. That is a dynasty by all means. Like, I don't understand how you could even say anything different. Because if you think about it, what comes to mind when you think about dynasty in football? The Patriots, right?
Right.
They did what the Chiefs have done in 2 chunks, is all they did. Like, there was a big gap in between. People forget about that. So, I mean, I'm with you. You don't have to win every year. But at the same time, I'm not content with losing at all right now. Like, I'm
not content.
I'm not an oh well type
like
guy.
You want to win it. You want to win
it,
but
I feel like
can't you say though that they have overperformed? Consider what we see throughout the season. You don't think they've overperformed in the playoffs?
No, but I'll tell you this. I think that the people that needed to step up and cover up some of those shortcomings have been able to do it in the playoffs. And they've done it by pure experience and pure will. And that's Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. These are the guys that needed to be stepping up all season because we know what MVS is. We know what McCole Hardman is. We know what Justin Watson is.
Hey,
right?
look,
So I wasn't all that like mind blown that they can't catch a football or that our receivers sucked. I was more mind blown by the fact that the other guys were sitting around watching it happen and weren't compensating for it or making it better or stepping up
dude,
and
we
now they're
have to
doing
give a
those
little
things.
credit, by the way, to MVS. He played a good game last week. It's not very often we can say that MVS played a good game.
What is it? The sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then, Michael.
Every now and then. And look, it did. It shined. Let's hope it continues to shine. Let's hope it's like Alaska. It'll shine there for 60 straight days. Let's hope.
Look,
I'm just asking for like
my
a
thing
month.
is like all of what we just talked about in a nutshell, though. Like, how often do you get? Let's say, in a normal team that don't have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid,
Right.
how often do you make it to the AFC Championship game? Like, that's how close you are to a Lombardi. You cannot be happy with getting this close and losing out on an opportunity like that because you don't always get that opportunity. So I think anything short of a Lombardi at this point is a complete failure and kind of pisses me off a little bit. Granted, I see what you're saying that they kind of overplayed because you didn't think they could do it. But I think they've had the team to do it the whole time. I think they weren't performing.
No,
so
you didn't. You cannot tell me you think Brett Veach fielded the best wide receiver room.
No. That's not what I was saying. I think they've had the team to win the whole time, even with the bad wide receiver crew. I think with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes,
right?
Travis
I get it.
Kelce,
They should have won,
you
but it's
win
hard
anyway.
to win in this league.
You win anyway.
Right.
But Mike, I said it myself. I said if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year with this wide receiver core, that Brett Veach is a lucky man.
Right.
Because he ignored an obvious flaw in this team that could cost them.
And then what did he do? He went out and got Mecole Hardman.
Right. He
the
doubled
greatest
down.
off-season pickup in the history of Chiefs.
He doubled down on the suck, bro.
Dude.
They better not give that man a touch this week after last week.
Probably not.
That's all I got to say.
Steve, I don't want to leave today. I got to leave in a few minutes. I got to go to work. I got to drive in the rain. Okay. That's what I got to do for the rest of the night.
Y'all show Mike some love.
But somebody cheer me up. Show me some love. I want to help grow the ACU crew members. So can somebody gift some subs? Can we gift? Can we get 5 gifted? If we get 5 gifted, you'll make my whole night. Let's grow this bad boy. Let's grow it.
We got to get it back where it once was, Mike.
I'm wanting to grow it. We're doing so well, by the way. We're doing so well. Within a week's time, we've almost got the subs all the way back up to halfway where we were.
You mean
that's amazing?
Yep.
It's amazing. But I will say, throw some subs out there, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's bless some crew members. Steve, before we go, your first initial thoughts on the game. Looking at it right now. Oh, look at our boy Yogi.
Yogi coming through right off the bat.
On cue, my boy, with 5 gifted. Yogi, that's why I love you, my boy. That's why I love you. TGZ with a gifted. Shout out these two.
Nice.
HD Chiefs fans with 5 gifted. Shout out HD Chiefs fan. Are you kidding me?
Chiefer with a gifted.
Chiefer with a gifted.
You guys are awesome.
That's 12 gifted. That makes my whole night. Brenda with a gifted. Look at that. You guys
Mike,
just made my whole evening.
Did you think the ACU crew was going to let you down?
I didn't, but I'm not the kind that I'm not going to come out here and say, do this for me. But at the same time, I'm sad. I want to see us get back to the levels where we were, and I want to see us to rise beyond. And we're doing that, Steve. We're over 21,000 subs now. So not only did we hit 20K, we're over 21K. And we're probably cruising to 22K. If we get all the way to the Super Bowl, that extends the season 3 more weeks. We may be at 23, 24K.
Mike, that's a testament of how awesome the people that watch our channel are.
It is.
The ACU crew are amazing because even though YouTube was kind of just screwing us, for lack of a better word, like they still helped us to continue to grow this channel by just watching, liking, subscribing, telling people about it, whatever it might be. And it's crazy that we kept growing at the same pace, even though YouTube had us in the doghouse.
Right.
And now we've had to start from scratch now that we've got this straight, and we're building it back up at a rapid pace because of the ACU crew. So you guys are freaking amazing.
Can we get some legendaries and some catch-ups in the chat for our boy Yogi for the 5, for HD Chiefs fan with 5, for TGZ for 1 gifted, with Chiefer for a gifted, with Brandon for a gifted, and now for Robert with another 5 bomb. He says, let me get this straight. I'm not content with losing, but since we could possibly lose on any given Sunday, I love the Chiefs. Be safe, Mike. I appreciate you, Robert. And that's my sentiment. That's my sentiment. I feel very thankful for what the Chiefs, because this could have been a down year. If we had
Dude,
went
it's
into the
been a
playoffs and lost
run.
to the Dolphins, we would have all felt like crap. Let's just be honest. But at
Yeah.
least if we get to the AFC Championship game and we fall just a little bit short, I'm going to be fine with it. And
Well,
I think that we're still in a great direction going forward.
You have to keep perspective, man. Like, if the Chiefs stopped right now and weren't even a franchise next year, you have to love what they were able to reel off over the last 6 years, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That's massive.
It's great, man.
That is huge. But we ain't stopping no time soon, baby.
We're
We
not
ain't doing
stopping. So before I go, Steve, this is our first time we've talked about Ravens Chiefs right here, AFC Championship game. Give me a little prediction. It don't have to be a score prediction.
I'm not doing the score prediction yet.
It don't have to be. I just want a prediction for the game. I don't care if you say Lamar Jackson will throw 6 interceptions. If that's your crazy wild prediction, I want to hear it. What's a prediction you got for me?
Man, that's a great question. Man, their defense is tough. They have a tough defense. They are a little banged up. Marlon Humphrey has had some issues with his knee, I believe. So I don't know. I don't have any good predictions for you, Mike. I will say, the only thing I can predict right now, without really looking into it, is that Isaiah Pacheco will continue to be a spark for our offense. I think no matter what, if you give that guy at least 15 carries, he's going to produce. Like, he's going to be a spark for your offense at all times. He can open things up because we have a running back that plays 110% balls through the wall every freaking time he has that ball in his hands, and that's invaluable.
Right. Okay, that's a good one. I'm going to predict this. I'm going to predict Mike Edwards is going to be back, and Mike Edwards is going to have a pick this game. That's what I'm predicting. And before we head out, we got a few more things to talk about.
We got a 20 bomb
with a 20
from
bomb,
Eric.
baby.
Appreciate
you guys
my
are always
man.
fun and very entertaining. You deserve many more subs. Go Chiefs. Eric, it's people like you that just make us want to do this. YouTube's a tough game. I know. Our boy Cole, he makes it look easy. Like, I don't
Yeah.
This guy's like Mr. Beast times 50. I have no idea how he's done this.
Props to him, though.
Dude,
right?
Mr. Beast, by the way, he'll tell you for the first 5 years he was on YouTube, he didn't even have 100 subs. Cole hits 50,000 in 2 months. This dude is a wizard. So we can't all be like Cole, but I tell you what, we try. And with YouTube smacking us over and over again, Steve, we could have quit at any point, man. And I think a lot of people would have been justifiably so. These poor guys have got it. But you know what? Nay, we will not quit. We keep grinding because we love the Chiefs. And it's people like Eric with the 20 bomb. We appreciate you. Throw some legendaries.
And just to quiet the drama queens, that was not shade at. How about those Chiefs? Cole works what he does.
I prefaced it with our friend.
Yeah,
Cole,
yeah. I know, but you know how people are, though.
Yeah. People always want some argument, some drama. Shout out. Yogi's 5 gifted went to Jesse Gillespie. Welcome. Jeff Horseman, James Hopkins, Travis Peterson, and Valerie, all gifted. HD Chiefs fans membership. He actually, wait a second. I've lost that one. TGZ went out to Tello 400, Bucks Tex, Inky Raw, Jacob Lambertson, Marshall Edwards, John Hanna, Cameron Albertson, Colleen K, all gifted membership. So welcome to the ACU crew.
Make sure to thank those guys in the chat, by the way, for the gifted membership.
For sure. And then we have another. We have another 2 from TGZ. He said no TDs. Pure Butker versus Tutker.
Hey,
21-15.
Look, they want to call.
That would be a game.
They want to call Tutker the GOAT, right? But I think I'll take Butker over him any day. Butker versus Tutker, that's hilarious. But no, I'll take my boy Butker. So if it's a field goal kicking contest, go Chiefs.
Dude, if it's a field goal kicking contest, I don't know if I'll hold up. That's going to be a lot of nerve wracking. I don't know about it.
We don't need all that.
Right. David. Let me shout David out here too. Appreciate you, TVG. Is that did I get that right? Is it TVG? TGZ. Sorry.
There you go.
I was thinking of TVG where I gamble on horses. David Howard says, I watch from the shadows. He lurks, but always like and did subscribe. And we appreciate you, David.
Yeah, appreciate that.
We appreciate
David.
everybody that likes and subscribes. Like this video when you head out. It does wonders for it. Go find another video you haven't watched. Watch it if you got some time. Like that one too. Share it with your friends. Hit that sub button. Steve, you got anything left for Chiefs Kingdom before I get out of here and have to drive through the monsoon?
No,
that is
if you're one of those people like David who are awesome and watch and do all that from the shadows, I do encourage you to get into the chat because our people here are awesome. No judgment. Everybody has fun. It's a good time. So yeah, get in there, talk some more. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got Jeff asking how he gets to accept gifts. I'll say this one more time real quick. Up at the top, when someone does gift memberships, there's a little gift box at the top of the chat. Click that, click accept gifts, and you'll be able to get those. But definitely appreciate you guys. Appreciate the super chats and appreciate all the gifted memberships. You guys are freaking awesome. And yeah, we're going to get this thing back on its feet and where it's supposed to be. And the Chiefs are going to be back in a Super Bowl here in just a few days. So got to love it, baby.
Dude, enjoy the ride. It's been a wild one.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a wild one. I think that's going to wrap it up for today.
You know,
Steve.
The sweet nectar of the Lombardi is going to be even sweeter this year because of what they've been through during the season. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this.
Doing a little bit of that.
Go. We're getting it going. We're out, guys. Go Chiefs. Y'all be safe.
There goes a sight from my soul.